How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me, as usual, is Leonard. This is a show about wrestling, and sometimes we do random match reviews, and that's what we have for you today. We have been known to take things from what is posted on the WWE Vault, and that is one of the matches that we are going to be discussing today. Leonard sent me this match. So, Leonard, why don't you talk about who the match is with?
Yeah, so it is somewhat related to WrestleMania this season because Sid Udy, also known as Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, or just plain Sid, is getting into the WWE Hall of Fame. And many people think it's long past due because he's passed away and won't be able to be there. But because of that, a lot of people have been revisiting Sid's career. So WWE Vault, part of that, has posted a never before seen cage match between Sid and Bret Hart. Is for the WWF World Title. Sid is champ. From March 16th, 1997. It's a house show at Madison Square Garden. So this has been leading into WrestleMania 13, where Sid would drop the belt to Undertaker. Bret would wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's no commentary on this video. The Howard Finkel does introductions. The whole video with those introductions is about 13:19. And this was right before, the night before they would do, Bret and Sid would wrestle a cage match on Raw. And apparently they had been doing the cage match on the house show circuit to kind of get that. And this is the big blue steel cage. Now, before we talk about the match itself, Chad, let me ask you your thoughts on Sid getting into the Hall of Fame. Is that deserved for him?
I would say it is. I mean, he was a very distinctive star in wrestling. Was he ever like a technically classic wrestler? No, but he had a look that you instantly remembered. He looked like a monster, and he started out with the skyscrapers, right? Like, well, not started out, but like he was in the skyscrapers at one point.
Yeah, I believe he was Lord Humongous in Memphis.
Right, yeah.
That was I believe his first ever gimmick, his start. Yeah.
I mean, I remember him when he was in WCW, and
yes,
of course his stints in WWF, WWE. I mean, the fact of the matter is he was, WWF champion on more than one occasion. Yeah, more than one occasion.
I want to say twice. Yeah, twice, and he was the WCW World Champion as well. I think on more than one occasion.
Yeah, I mean, based on that alone, and the length of his tenure in the business, I think it's deserved. We talk about what's deserved and what's not because the WWE has really come close to that line of, okay, why is this person in? Do they deserve to be in? I think Sid has accomplished enough and is known enough to be there. It's a shame that he got in the timing, but I would say it's warranted. How about you?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, we've talked about in the past. Anytime we've watched Sid in anything, like we talked about Sid in ECW, I think he's crazy over.
Yeah, always.
Wherever he goes, just crazy over, even as a heel. And he was the first time, you go back and look, that a heel against Hulk Hogan was cheered.
Yeah,
not by everybody, but a portion of the crowd was behind Sid in that feud at WrestleMania 8. It's charisma. It's raw charisma. It's look. When years and years ago, when I did a fantasy wrestling, not the draft thing that I've talked about, but where you create your own wrestler. And the guy I created was like, I gave him Sid's height and weight because I wanted him to be like as big without being like stupid big, like right. Not Andre big or King Kong Bundy big or something like that.
Right.
But like reasonably huge.
Yeah, I mean, he's the type of guy that, he looks like he's a professional wrestler. He also always had great theme music as well. So,
yeah. So, Sid, good for him on getting in. So, this cage match, I just thought was interesting, to watch these kind of hidden gems, these never before seen things. So, usually I do pretty detailed breakdowns. I'll try not to do that. I'll say it starts with brawling, mostly brawling early to start. Bret Hart lands an elbow drop and tries to climb his way out of the cage. He was caught by Sid back in the ring. Bret attacks the leg. Nice spot as Hart bounces out of the corner on a hard whip, and a double clothesline leads to a double down. Sid tries to climb out, and Hart catches him on top. Sid almost gets away, but Bret pulls him back by the hair. Nice overhead camera angles here. There's two spots where they do an overhead camera that I thought looked really nice. Back to the ring with Hart getting a backbreaker and headbutt to the breadbasket. He goes for the door, but Sid catches him by the foot and just kind of flops his leg down and stomps it. Sid looks to be setting up a fallaway slam, but just rams Hart back first into the cage twice by holding him like a baby. Body slam, and Sid climbs. Bret stops him, side Russian leg sweep, kick to the gut, and an elbow drop. Hart climbs, and Sid catches him and crouches him on the cage. Hart upends Sid on a powerbomb try and gets to the sharpshooter, which means Jack here. But Hart climbs, and Sid buells him off the top rope. That looked nice. Hart with the chest first bump into the corner. I like how Sid is suddenly selling the leg. He climbs slowly. Nice superplex by Hart. And we get another nice overhead camera shot here. Dumb choice by Bret as he climbs the cage, but Sid scurries to the door and falls out to the floor before Hart can descend. I don't know if I've ever seen that finish before. I've seen both guys kind of race up and out and over. I've seen one guy climb out and one guy go for the door, but the guy climbing out always wins. I've never seen the door guy win, I don't think.
I love that we're calling him the door guy.
The door guy, the guy that goes for the door. So, in general, Chad, your thoughts on this match?
So you mentioned the end. Let's start with
start with the finish, and
I'll work my way back. So the end was my favorite part of this match, actually, because the timing of it was like, man, gold plated. I mean, like, because if you're not watching everything that's going on, you're like, man, did Bret just win the title? It was very close, very well done in that regard. So the ending was my favorite part. However, the start of this match was very standard, very conventional Bret Hart type material. Mm-hmm. And I was a little bit like, they didn't use the cage really until like 8:15, 8 minutes, 15 seconds in. And then finally they start to use the cage. And I'm like, okay, what, because it's like, what was the point of this? So this was one of the first matches where, like, I never thought this as a kid, Leonard. I'm sure you've heard podcasts or seen documentaries where somebody mentions the WWF MO of the hero, like, leaving the cage. The whole idea of, sometimes you hear old timers say, oh, why are they trying to leave the cage, escape the cage? Like, the hero's supposed to beat the guy in the ring and, mm-hmm. leaving the
cage.
Right,
usually a cage match comes up because previous matches had ended in a DQ or a count out or a run in or manager interference. So you have the cage, so you don't have that. Yes.
Right. If you're trying to leave the cage, that's like more of something that the heel would do or a coward would do. Like, I had heard that a bunch. As a kid, it didn't bother me. And even as an adult, it really doesn't bother me. But this was one of the first cage matches I saw where I thought of that. Because Bret Hart immediately tries to leave the cage as soon as he's able to do. And they both do it, but like it was a thing where it's like, okay, these guys just want to get the hell out of there. Like that was kind of the attitude I had. But be that as it may, you had mentioned the sharpshooter. They it felt like a little bit of a rush job in terms of how much they sold that, but he did sell it. So it's like the match itself, I was like, okay, this is a house show match. And it was fine for what it was. The ending, I thought, really improved my overall opinion of it. How about you?
Well, I had some of the same notes about how they didn't really use the cage until Sid rammed Bret into the cage.
Right.
Outside of all the escape spots. For this match only being about 10 minutes, there's 5 or 6 different escape attempts.
Yeah.
And I would say, and again, maybe if there was commentary could have got that over. I think the idea here is this isn't a grudge match necessarily between these guys. It's, I want to win the title. Either I want to retain the title or gain the title. So to do that, you've got to get out of the cage.
Right.
So I think commentary would have probably put that over better.
True.
Other than that, this felt like a very standard Bret match, as you said. So, I mean, star rating, I would go 2.25 stars, maybe right down the middle. I mean, I did kind of enjoy it for what it was. And you know, again, just the idea of Bret versus Sid, seeing something we hadn't seen before, the aura of Madison Square Garden, the unique way they did work the cage gimmick. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it was great by any means.
Yeah, I'm with you on the rating. I would probably go about 2.25 as well. But you know, I love seeing house show stuff. Like, you know, one wonders if they have some of those really prized house show matches that we hear about. Like I've mentioned in previous shows, the Iron Man matches that were at house shows. Like, you know, who knows if they had the cameras going in any good way for those, but man, it would be cool if they were able to clean some of that
Yeah.
stuff up.
So a lot of the Madison Square Garden, Boston Garden stuff, and I believe a lot of the Philly Spectrum stuff is available because they had their own. I don't think it was closed circuit, but local cable channels. Like there was
Right.
the Madison Square Garden Network and the Boston
Right.
Garden Network, and they would do the base. I'm saying all the wrong sports. The basketball games, the
Right.
hockey games, and the concerts. So that's why a lot of that stuff exists.
Right. Very true. All right. Well, if you've watched this match, let us know what you thought. Let us know what you think of Sid going into the Hall of Fame. Comment however you see fit to comment. And check out our other videos as well. We're available wherever you listen to podcasts. For Leonard, my name is Chad, and we will see you next time.